All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're to the SCL Racing Network. This is Carlin Hicks, your host here today for today's race, the SCL Season 26 Monaco Grand Prix. It's our second round of the SCL Season 26 Formula One World Championship. You're looking at the qualifying right now as these guys are in a 15-minute session, guys and girls in a 15-minute session to set their starting order for this race. I'm going to leave the timings up rather than cycle through them, but we're going to have full race broadcast coverage for you here once we get going. Have a lot to talk about once we get in towards the race. First round was 2 weeks ago at Bathurst in Australia. It was Hossack from Apex Motorsport picking up the win. He's back here today looking to build on it. As I said, today is round 2 of 10, so very early in the season. And as you can see, there's a lot of rain, thunderstorms. We have thunderstorms in the AccuWeather forecast throughout the first part of the race. And then we should see it clearing up. We have 3 weather windows on the randomizer, and we're looking at about anywhere between a quarter to a half of the race where it's going to be raining. Then it should stop raining. We're expecting to see it stop raining, but how much the track will dry, it's tough to tell. I mean, we're talking about the Monte Carlo, the Circuit de Monaco here. This is the Monaco Street Circuit. It's the most famous street circuit in the world, most famous street race in the world, and this is a tough track. SCL here on Project Cars 2, we run the Formula X cars as the Formula 1 cars. These cars do have a lot of grip, quite a bit of muscle, and we should see how this sorts out. It should be an interesting race. Obviously, the weather is going to be a big factor, and just hoping to put on a show for you. I'm going to leave qualifying up and take a station break. I'll be back at the end of the qualifying session to call the race for you, and you're watching the SCL Racing Network. Excuse me, Carlin Hicks back with you. Qualifying ongoing. It looks like Staza currently has the fastest lap on the track at a 1:19.9. Qualifying in these thunderstorm conditions, by no means easy. I'll put the background camera onto him as he's making a pit stop, it appears. But holding form with the top lap. Sanzo, an independent driver from the Netherlands, made his debut tail end of last season. So technically a second season driver, but has shown a lot of promise. Ran some races on the American Tour, but we're looking at him to be a serious contender here on the International Tour. He didn't race down in Australia, but he's here today in Monaco for the second round of the championship, and right now sitting pretty in second. You see how close these guys are. The top 6 separated by less than a second right now, and the top 8 separated by less than 2 seconds. All right, as I said, coming off of Bathurst last week, or 2 weeks ago down in Australia, the opening round, the Australian Grand Prix. It was Hossack for Apex Motorsport. He took the win. Rita St. James from JME came home second. Average Gamer from Extreme Speed Motorsports was third. En Staza, the longtime veteran and independent, was fourth. And WKK, who's not in the race here, was fifth. Other notables, Wanma 7th, Ladout was 8th, Webbloom was 13th, and Kylo 14th among the cars in the field. We'll talk a little more about them as the race goes on here today. After the first round, JME Motorsports, on the virtue of having 2 finishers, took the lead in the team points by 12 over Apex, who had race winner Hossack. So that's still very early to be points watching. The series from here goes to Imola for the San Marino Grand Prix in 2 weeks. And currently the SCL Season 26 Daytona Speed Weeks is ongoing. We had the Roar Before the Continental last night, the All-Star races a couple nights ago. And later on today, I'll be hopping on the old proverbial corporate jet to get back there, as we have Daytona 500 qualifying and the Gatorade duels to set the field for next Sunday's SCL 26 Daytona 500. So a lot of excitement building up in the league around that. Got a full week of events. The Legends of Daytona on Monday, all for Daytona Speed Weeks, and then the Support Series start up. Late Model Sportsman's on Tuesday night. Wednesday night we'll see the Grand National Division stock cars. Thursday night we'll see the Indy Lights, and then Friday night we will see the beginning of the big championship series, the IndyCar Series opener, the US 400. Next Saturday is the Camel GT Series opener, the Daytona Continental, the 3-hour endurance race. And of course next Sunday, the SCL 26 Daytona 500. And we'll talk more about that in a future broadcast. Minute 15 left in the qualifying session. We haven't seen much change simply because with the track as wet as it is, I think that puddles are getting too big for guys to improve their lap time here. And that may be enough to keep Stas on the pole. Sanzo coming in second. Right now we'll see if anybody can knock Staza off of the pole. I don't think it will happen, but good qualifying run. Sanzo, driver who's shown speed. Dalrymple, fresh off. He was here yesterday for the Mediterranean Super Prix, the Le Mans Series race, and he came home second in the GTE class. He had a heck of a battle with Average Gamer there, who's in 4th place, but You look at our field of drivers there. You've got there in the international tour: Australia, New Zealand, Australia, USA, Great Britain. I'm not sure about Kylo. Remy's Netherlands, Flatouts Australia, Webloom's USA. So we got a good international field of drivers. And I'm going to get back over there to give them their starting lineup. And we'll be back in the booth with you. That's the difference between the Aussies and us Americans. You manage to sound cool while cursing. And Britain too, the British too. Bloody hell sounds so much better than what would come out of my mouth in that situation. Just more sophisticated than us. I mean, maybe not the Aussies so much, but you know. We're all cousins, man. We come from the same crop of whatever. Rita? Yeah, you have to go above those rumble strips in turn one. Yeah, you have to go. Oh. Rage quit it over cut in turn one. Did anybody else hear that? No. I mean, did anybody else interpret that from what Rita told you? Yeah. 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 So he just kept arguing with you. And even if you didn't understand it, what's the big deal? You just say, "Okay, I didn't know that," and then move on with it, you know? Yeah, like we're gonna, like we're out to get you or something. That's why I do this, guys. I put all this time in just so I can fuck with you guys. Yeah, it's weird, but Johnny's supposed to handle that whole situation. So somebody's mic's crazy, but we should be good. All right, I'm gonna turn you guys loose. I'm gonna give you your starting order real quick. On the pole is Enstaza, the veteran independent with a great run. Sanzo from the Dutchman starting second. Dalrymple Dimple, fresh off a good run yesterday in the Le Mans race. Starting third, Average Gamer from Extreme Speed Motorsports, third in points, starting fourth. Starting fifth will be Wanma, his teammate at XSM. Hossack from Apex Motorsport is in sixth. Rita from JME is in seventh. Remy from JME is in eighth. Flat Out from Aussie Race Team is 9, and Webloom from Inside Line Racing is 10th. Tough it out. Everybody will have a good points day. Good luck, guys. Let me get back into the booth, Rita, and if you need me, you know where to find me. Good luck, everybody. All right. Back in the party chat and ready to go. As we will wait for these cars to get their instructions. Going right off the grid, we have quite a bit of rain here in Monaco. A bit of a small starting field by SCL standards. We usually fill about every race, but we've got 10 starters here for the Monaco Grand Prix. A couple of guys having technical issues, such as Shano. Aussie race team had a garage fire. They're not at the track today. Cut loose also did not make the race. WKK out of town, but nonetheless, we should have a good show. Your points leader, race winner back in Australia, Hossack is in 6th. Second in points, Reed is in 7th, but it's Ed Staza who will lead us from the pole here at the SCL Season 26 Monaco Grand Prix. Got thunderstorms through the early part of the race. We're expecting the rain to stop. And how much the track dries in these cool temperatures of 49 degrees ambient, 56 degrees on the track is anybody's guess. But these guys are coming out in the wet. Stas is a longtime veteran, running now as an independent. Taking the pole here at the Monaco Grand Prix, the most famous street race in the world, back in the SCL, and we are ready to get it underway. The SCL 26 Monaco Grand Prix is upon us. See how clean they can fire off the grid. Stas gets the initial hole shot. Look back on our chase cam and see how well we can see him into turn 1. Very difficult to even see. Big accident, and that is definitely going to bring out the caution and a regrid. Definitely going to bring out the caution and a regrid. Somebody got in the wall. The rest of the field could not manage to stack up behind him, and they are definitely going to get the second regrid and a chance at the restart here. Looked like they got a good start off through turn 1, heading on up the opening straight, but down towards Grand Hotel. But it was didn't quite climb the hill. Didn't quite climb the hill. Somebody got caught up in the infield there. Somebody got caught up in the infield there and climbing the hill there, and they wound up on top of each other. So we will attempt a regrid here. Kind of expected that in these thunderstorm conditions. I mean, these are the worst conditions the drivers could hope for. All week during the official SCL practice sessions, there was no rain, no hint of rain in the forecast. But sure enough, we get here to race day and there's thunderstorms. But as I said, these guys hoping the track will dry early. If they can get the track to dry early, we may see some dry racing at the end. But this race is going to be a strategy race, a race of nerve. And it's still early in the season. With 10 starters in the race, these guys know they're going to get a decent point stage just by finishing the race. And smaller field than normal for an event as such as this here in the SCL. But as I said, weather conditions, a number of the regulars are out this week as they're regridding up here at the front and getting ready for the second start, first attempt at a restart here at the Monaco Grand Prix. Cars are gridded back up. Staza on the pole, on the outside pole there is Sanzo. And they're off again. Staza leads them out. Looks like they got through there. Oh, they're on top of each other again, a number of cars, and we immediately have the second caution flag. Immediately to the second caution flag, as that's the action spot right up there, coming up, climbing up the hill. That is where we're seeing all the action. I don't have my map names in front of me because my phone's dying, but I'll try to pull it up here so I can be a little more precise for you guys. Monaco Street Circuit, but this time it's going to be a rolling start, as if we were under the safety car. Alright, so if I take a look here, yes, as they're climbing, Massenet, turn 3, is right where it's getting them. Coming up through Beau Rivage and into Massenet. That's where these guys are wrecking into each other under the caution right now. We'll see how they're sorting out here. Will not be a regrid for the third attempt at a start. Dalrymple Dimple came out in the lead. Average Gamer second. Rita St. James third. Sanzo in fourth. Hossack fifth. Flat Out sixth. Juan the seventh. Staza the pole sitters all the way back in eighth. Webbloom in ninth, and Remy is in 10th. I'm going to try to get back at the end of the field here, as they're going to be attempting the second of a possible 3 restarts. Be calling it from the back as we're on board with JME Motorsports driver Remy in the number 2 car. All right, we are green. Let's see if they can make it. Just about green, not yet. And we're green now. Let's see if they can make it up the hill here. I want to see the first group of cars. On board with Hossack here. Looks like we're backed up again. Did we get another call? No? They must have waved off the start there, because they're definitely back under pace. Did not see where there was a caution there. I'm wondering if they just waved off the restart. But after all that, Average Gamer has ended up coming from the third starting spot up to the lead. So these starts are brutal in these conditions, and these drivers are doing, I believe this may be the last chance at a start. It appeared to be a caution there. Not sure if it was a wave off or not, but I thought everybody cleared it. So this may be the last shot here. Fourth and final attempt. So these guys got to keep it underneath them. Conditions just atrocious for these drivers, and they're doing their best here. But this race is going to play out very interesting. 75 laps scheduled here on the Monaco Street Circuit. There's a possibility of a red flag in these conditions. That's the race director's call. We'll see if she chooses to make that call. But they are giving a go of it, trying to give the viewers and the fans a show here in the most famous street race in the world, the Monaco Grand Prix. All right, they're going to come off the final corner. Turn 18. Head back towards the start. keep it slow. And we are green again. That might be green for the last time. Somebody's already into the wall. Somebody's flipping over. Now they appear like they're up and going. Everybody's moving. Average Gamer's shot out to the lead in the XSM car. He's got Dalrymple right on his tail. They had a battle just yesterday in the GTE class on this track during the Le Mans Series race, and they're right back at it. Rita St. James settling in the third, Hossack in fourth, Wanma fifth. They come down the Grand Hotel hairpin. Very difficult conditions these drivers are dealing with, obviously. Down the Harbor Straight. Get some chase cam footage as the guys move through the field. Flat out getting into the back of Stas there, going into turn 12. Stas, your pole sitter, ending up all the way back here in 8th. Average Gamer goes around from the lead. Your leader, Average Gamer, all the way back to 10th. And that puts Dalrymple back up front. Remy hitting the pits. JME Motorsports ride, making an early pit stop. Let's get back to our cycling through here. Average in 9th, trying to catch back up. There's Webbloom hitting turn 1 flat out. Staza in 6th, chasing Sanzo there. There's Juan Mahasak. Rita not far behind Dalrymple. Let's see what we got here. There's your pole sitter Stas, who cycled back up to 6th with Average Gamer's spin and Remy's pit stop. These guys making the best they can out of these absolutely brutal thunderstorm conditions here at the Monte Carlo Street Circuit. But meanwhile, back up front, holding a narrow lead. There's your battle for the lead. You've got Dalrymple Dimple, the rookie driver, an independent from Australia. As I said, finished 2nd place here yesterday in the Le Mans Series race on this track in the GTE class. He is being hounded by JME Motorsports driver Rita St. James, former Indianapolis 500 winner, which makes an interesting point. If Rita were to win the Monaco Grand Prix here, she would be two-thirds of the Triple Crown of Motorsport, only needing a Le Mans win here in the SCL. So that's something that could be on her mind. I doubt it, but it'd be something she'd like to have in her trophy case. But Dalrymple, as we said, up front there in the independent car. Rookie driver yesterday in the opener, the Mediterranean Super Prix for the International Le Mans Series, right on this track. He was in the GTE class. He got into a tremendous duel, ran down Average Gamer at the end. Average Gamer was able to hang on and take the victory. Ooh, as Dalrymple gets into the wall, but Dalrymple really made a name for himself yesterday. Just 24 hours ago on this track, he really put up a performance that made people notice, and now he's gone qualified 3rd here today at the Monaco Grand Prix, and he's currently running right there with Rita St. James on him. Hossack not far behind in 3rd, as these guys cycled up with everybody having their early problems, as the puddles just continuing to form, making the race even more treacherous. And there's not a big gap, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, they're still all in a line. Average Gamer's moved back up to within 6 seconds of the field, largely because he had a clear track. Once you spin, you can start to pick up time and run quick laps. Flat out. Running along for Aussie Race Team, he is in 8th. Remy came off a pit stop in 9th. And Webbloom, I'm not sure if he stopped, but his lack of stability control is currently hurting him. He's running just traction control and ABS, and he's having trouble keeping his car underneath him here in Monaco. Meanwhile, Rita's feeling pressure right there from Hossack for 2nd. Those cars finished second and first respectively. Second and first respectively at the Australian Grand Prix, the season opener. Track position so vital here, and that's why I think Average Gamer's moving up, back up from his early spin. Had a clear track, now he's catching traffic, and we'll see what we get here. Still on our leader, Dalrymple Dimple. Let's go on board with Hossack from Apex Motorsport. He's got Sanzo. Look at this gap. There is no gap. Rita, meanwhile, is right on top of Dalrymple. We'll do some onboards later on when we get the field spread out a little bit. There's first place Dalrymple. Second place is Rita. Third place is Haas, flat out hitting the pits. That's 7 seconds separating the top 7 cars. These cars are right on top of each other. But Dalrymple continues to lead. Let's go from the back of this front group of 7 on our chase cam. Average Gamer in 7th place. He's looking up at Staza, who is right on the tail of Wanma for the top 5. There's Juan. Looking up ahead at Sanzo, who's moved up from his 2nd place starting spot, fell back in the field, now he's sitting in 4th. He's right behind Hossack right there. Rita's right in front of him, and there's Dalrymple enjoying a little bit of a gap now. Average Gamer hitting the pits, so he's deciding to make some changes to his tires. Fuel and tire service for Average Gamer. Winner in the GTE class here yesterday in the International Le Mans Series race. He's out and going. These conditions brutal on these drivers, and we're only working lap 9 of 75 of the scheduled distance. The red flag is a possibility out there if we have enough trouble, but I think we're starting to spread out, and the tires are getting some proper temperature in them. But Dalrymple from a third place qualifying spot has shot up to the lead. Let's settle back. It'll be a long race here. The SCL Season 26 Monaco Grand Prix, Round 2. The next race, 2 weeks from today, up at Imola, San Marino Grand Prix. They'll later be going to the United States at Watkins Glen. German Grand Prix will be in Nürburgring. British Grand Prix at Brands Hatch. All the way to the final round at Japan, 10 rounds in total. And maybe it's time for a little chase action, as we got Sanzo. Oh, Sanzo gets into Hossack big time. Big time. Big time accident. That was a big time accident. Sanzo got to the inside of him, tried to get back on the throttle, and around he went. That was brutal, and that was not Hossack's fault. I mean, Sanzo, I don't think meant to, he got the position there heading into the corner. It might have been a little late, but when he went back on the throttle, he just absolutely wiped Hossack out. And that's a situation where you got to see that car next to you. He has nowhere else to go. He's stuck up against the wall. And if you just got to lay off the throttle. It's a tough situation, but I'd be hot under the collar if I was Hossack, because that was a difficult situation to find yourself in. Sanzo did not mean to do that, obviously, but when you get stuck together like that, as we've had a number of cars pit. We'll get back up front to Dalrymple, who's got about a second on Rita. All right, sorry about that. Back with you off the break. Working lap 12 of 75. We've got a number of cars. I believe everybody from third on back has made their pit stop. Dalrymple's still in the lead, Rita there in second. But the action is right here. Sanzo's moved into third. Stazza, the pole sitter's right behind him. Those are your front row starters. Average Gamers right behind them. These are the cars that have all made stops already in this race. Remy, Wanma, Hossack, who I'm pretty sure he's made a stop now. He had that terrible wreck where Sanzo got into him, which was not of his doing. That's one of those situations I feel for the guy. Not his fault at all. He gave the guy all the room in the world, but Sanzo was in a situation there where it's not that he got in too deep, as it looks like Wabloom has gone around again. It's not like Sanzo got in too deep. You know, he had a little bit of room there, but when he went to get back on the throttle, he didn't anticipate Hossack still being beside him and that there was nowhere to go. On another track, Haas would have just took it out in the grass and cursed under his breath, but at this place, you can't do that, and he just absolutely knocked him around. Another car got into him, and with the clean start, the international rules here, there's no full course yellow. They got to get going, and Hossack lost quite a bit of time. So he'll be trying to dig his way back up into the top 5 just to salvage a good points day. Although I wouldn't say he's done yet. A lot of strategy left to be played. You're looking at Hossack battling with Flat Out for 8th place. He's got the faster car right now. Meanwhile, a little farther up, Sanzo has pulled away from Stas, who appears to have had another incident. Average Gamers moved into 4th. Stas has fallen back to 5th place. There's Stazza right behind him. But Stazza banging the walls. He's having some kind of tire troubles here. We anticipated that possibly, and we're definitely seeing it now. Sanzo now sitting alone up in 3rd place. He's got about an almost 10-second gap right now on Average Gamer in 4th. And meanwhile, up front, there's Dalrymple, and then Rita, the battle for the lead. Dalrymple from 3rd, Rita coming all the way from 7th on the grid, and finds herself in 2nd place. Remy hitting the pits yet again for JMU Motorsports, getting fuel and tires, as they're pitting a lot here because we had some indication that the rain tires were wearing out prematurely and did not have the time to make a call on the tire wear situation. So there's a very good possibility that these guys are seeing tire wear issues. Now as good a time as any to get us a lap on the track, and why not do it with Rita St. James of JMU Motorsports, as she's running in 2nd place, looking ahead at Dalrymple. Here she comes down to take turn 1. Get wide to the left. Try to keep that off the wall. Hitting those puddles, sliding around a little bit, but managing to hang on to it. This is the tough part of the track that's been getting everybody out. She turns hard, very smooth. Now heading down towards Grand Hotel hairpin. Little kiss of the wall. Hard right-hander. Now down towards Grand Hotel. Hard 180 degree hairpin. Hard right, and now on to the Harbor Straight through the tunnel. Onto the Harbor Straight. Rita's skidding that car around a little bit. These drivers, I feel for them. Now through the tunnel. Look at the puddling here in the tunnel. That is just brutal. That tunneling in the puddle is that puddling in the tunnel is absolutely brutal right now. I feel for these drivers trying to deal with that. They're kissing off the walls here. And there she is, completing one lap at Monaco. Hossack finally got by flat out. Showed a lot of patience there, especially for a guy who got punted earlier in the race. And is hanging on to 7th, Wanwa up to 6th. Those are our closest battles on the track, is still the front two. Dalrymple and Rita have not pitted yet, but you can see their lap time suffering. Last time by, Dalrymple 133, Rita 132. Their lap times are off of average, and Staza behind them. But Rita obviously getting decent tire wear here. Such a long race, only working lap 16 of 75. Rita goes for the pass. Gets to the outside. I think she's made it. Rita makes the pass for the lead on Dalrymple. Oh, she slides through a little bit there, burps the throttle to avoid gaining time. Or to avoid spinning out, one or the other. And she's coming into the pits now. Rita going to make her pit stop here on lap 16. Still very early in the race. Fuel and tire service. Rita's going to pit. Let's see where she cycles out. But she's got to feel happy with where she was running, all the way up to 2nd place from a 7th place starting spot. And she almost slid right out into the line in front of Average Gamer there. I believe that was Average Gamer. Or Wanma is who that was. Staza hitting the pits. He missed his pit stall, has to back it up. Rita came out right behind. Let's get on the chase cam here. She is right behind Average Gamer for 3rd place. So this is going to be one heck of a battle right here. Battle for 3rd right here. Dalrymple's taking back over the lead. Rita coming out on fresh tires now. Can't do much in the tunnel. These guys are bouncing through like it's a water slide. But Rita right on the tail. She goes to the outside, down the harbor straight, kisses the wall. Does a good job avoiding an accident there. Ooh, gets into Average Gamer there and goes by him. Makes the pass for the moment. And our leaders in the pits, Dalrymple Dimple, a rookie driver, into the pits from the lead. Let's see how he cycles out here. Top 4 have passed him. See how much time he lost there coming out. Makes his way out. Does a very clean, uses the yellow line. Beautifully done by Dalrymple. Comes out in 4th place, about 15 seconds off the leader, Sanzo. He comes out about 7 seconds behind Rita, who he was racing with. So Rita definitely had a quicker pit stop and a better time coming out coming in a couple laps earlier. But Sanzo cycled up to the lead. The independent Dutch driver. Excellent driver, qualified 2nd. I think the early black mark on this race was the incident with Hossack about 10 laps ago when they got into each other in turn 1, I believe. And there's Webb Bloom. He's having all kinds of problems with his Formula One machine today. But respect to him. He gets the car going and stays at it. Closest battle on the track was right there. But Dalrymple appears to be having some trouble coming out of the pits, getting the tires up to temperature. Now he's going to have Hossack on his tail. Oh, Dalrymple puts it into the wall. Slides it backwards. He's looking for a place to turn around. He's got to wait it out as another car comes through. This is disastrous for Dalrymple, who was leading much of the early part of this race. He's finally got it going, but he's losing tons of time. He's losing tons of time here, and obviously coming out on the fresh tires and the fuller fuel tank has hurt him. He's fallen all the way back to 7th now, I should say. But back up front, Sanzo in the lead, 7 seconds in the front of Rita. We'll see how their lap times split up here. But Sanzo, as I said, a Dutch driver in his second season, shows a lot of promise. He has gotten into a few too many incidents at times, to be honest. Much like that one earlier with Hossack. Not something he was trying to do, and to give him, you know, to give him a little bit of credit, he was, you know, he did have room to make the move, but when they were coming off the corner, he just did not have the line to take that car to the wall. And when he got back on the throttle, he just absolutely crunched Hossack into the wall. It's one of those things, but something where you're definitely going to have to be more careful about it. Rita running faster on the track now, appears to be moving in. Rita now within 5 seconds. She ran a 1:25 that last lap. Rita was very confident. She said, you know, she was telling me before the race that, you know, the Parc Fermé tires, she wasn't too sure about them, but she was confident that once she got in her specialized set, that she was going to be ready to run. And even though they're still wet, she's happy with her tire pressures, and I think she's happy where she's running right now. And she is definitely gaining on Sanzo, who tires may be going away a little bit. We're still very early in this race, only working lap 20 of 75. So the changing track conditions and the strategy and all this are going to, you know, make this race, can tell the story in this race. Average Gamer had his early problems, had a big incident in the early part of the race. He's made a couple of made a pit stop already, but he's now moved himself back up to 3rd place. He was a winner here yesterday in the GTE class of the Le Mans Series race. Had an excellent battle with Dalrymple. And he's coming into the pits again. Average Gamer pitting from 3rd. He may be having tire issues. That might be part of his problem here. He might be one of the ones whose Yokohamas are not staying under him, and he's praying for a dry track. He also appears to have a lot of fuel on board. Some of these guys took on an awful lot of fuel, and that could be part of their handling issues. Keeping the car light can be a big advantage to you. Average staying to the right, trying to let these cars pass. Very well done. Slots out in 7th, right behind the longtime leader of the race, Dalrymple. Rita, meanwhile, moving in there. We got a battle between Hossack and Wanma now. Battle for third. Wanma from Extreme Speed Motorsports. And Hossack and Wanma getting together as Juan hit a puddle, but they're back under it together. Wanma, a 2-time Le Mans class winner, both season 23 and 25 here in the SCL. Well regarded, particularly as a sports car racer in the league, although he's run a variety of classes. And him and Hossack doing battle here. They're fighting that car, but you can see the sun start coming out. The rain has not quite stopped, but the track temperature has gone up. We're up from 49 to 55 degrees ambient, and that's added quite a bit. That's actually added 13 degrees to the track temperature, and looks like Wanma is hitting the pits now. Wanma coming into the pits, the Extreme Speed Motorsport team going to work, giving him fuel and tires. Let's see if he can slot out and keep himself in the top 5. Oh, he went right out onto the track there, violating the track rules. I think maybe he got on the throttle and it got out from under him. It seems like it hurt him way more than it hurt Dalrymple, so I think he'll be cleared of an immediate stop-and-go penalty, but definitely not what he wanted coming out after the pit stop. Dalrymple slides by. Staza moves up to 4th. Hossack now sitting back in 3rd. But Rita's right back on it. Battle up front. Sanzo's your leader. Rita, coming off her pit stop, is running down from nearly 10 seconds back. As Average Gamer back in the pits. He was just in the pits a few laps ago. He can't be possibly deciding to go with dry tires. I know it looks to me like he's still on wets. But he must be having some kind of... These guys are definitely having that tire wear issue. Oh, and he spins it out coming out of the pits there, right onto the front stretch. He's got a clear track in front of him, gets it around and gets it going. Well done there by Average Gamer, but very tough. A lot of guys having some serious trouble here. But back up front, there's Sanzo, your leader. Rita's got the quicker car. She's running him down. Let's see if she can make the pass and retake the lead. Webbloom getting turned around, Sanzo getting into him. Get our eyes here on Webbloom, who's sliding backwards down the track, trying to find a place to get around. This poor guy's had all kinds of trouble. I think his problem, and I've checked the telemetry, he's not running the stability control, and he's having a real problem keeping that car underneath him. But credit to him, he's a few laps down now, and he's still running out there looking to get his looking to get himself a finish. All right, so Rita took the lead from Sanzo as Sanzo got into Webbloom. And now sits alone atop. He's not far behind, though, if Sanzo can come back. But I think Rita's got the quicker car right now with the way the tire's cycling around. So she's got to feel good and comfortable about the position she's in. Working lap 24 of 75. Still very early in this race, but you can start to see the rain is slowing up. The sun's starting to come out a little bit. But the rain is still falling. The track's gotten warmer. Track's gotten a lot warmer, actually. Ambient temperature's gone up 10 degrees. Track temperature's gone up 23 degrees since the start of the race. And that means this track is changing rapidly. It means that it will, when the rain slows down, it will dry up pretty quickly. I think we may see some dry racing here towards the finish, the way that the track is continuing to warm up here. As the sun comes out and the thunderstorm lets up. Rita running the quickest laps on the track at the moment. So once she made the stop, it's only made one stop so far. Once she made the stop and got her tires on, her wet set on there, she's moved past Sanzo and pulled away from the field a little bit. Let's check in on our pole sitter. Give some camera time here to Stas. Took our pole here, got knocked out of it pretty early during the sequence of starts on the race. But Stas, as I've said before, we got another stop from Remy. Taking a look from Remy of JME Motorsports. He's getting fuel and tires from 7th place. And out goes the Flying Dutchman, former SCL Indianapolis 500 winner. He almost pulled right out in front of Dalrymple, who has been dodging those all night. He's barely, no, it's not Dalrymple, actually. That might be somebody else. Flat out back into the pits for Extreme Speed Motorsport. He's turning good lap times. He has, I believe, his best lap. 128. He's not having a terrible time of it. And still early. These guys way off sequence. Some cars have stopped once, two, three times. But yeah, there's Stas, our pole sitter, running in 5th right now. He had some trouble here yesterday at the Le Mans Series race, and hasn't had the easiest go of it so far, but he might still be able to pull out a top 5. Former Bathurst 500 champion. This is a veteran of more than 10 seasons in the SCL, going back to about season 15 or so, so he's probably in about his 12th season. He's always been a long-time competitor and looking to make his mark here in Formula One. But still early. He's still got time. He's running quick laps, looking to run down Wanma in front of him from Extreme Speed. As I said, the 2-time Le Mans class winner, running in 4th and running quick lap time. 2nd right now only to Rita for on-track lap speed. So he's gaining a little bit on Hossack in front of him. But as the sun comes out, we may actually see some sunshine. Nobody right on top of each other battling at the moment, but there is some cars in traffic. And we're looking at one right now as Dalrymple's coming up on flat out. There's lap traffic at the moment, I believe. Dalrymple led much of the early part of this race. He did have an accident coming out of the pits, or I'm sorry, yeah, with someone else coming out of the pits earlier on. But as quick as he's been, he's still early enough for him to, as he goes by, still early enough for him to make a run. He was running right up front there for a good portion of this race, and I believe the rain has stopped now. We've got no more rain here at Monaco. The track is still wet, obviously, but we may indeed see sunshine and the chance to get on the dry tires later on. There's a battle for position. Dalrymple just ahead of Remy. Who just ran a 1:21.9 himself. This track is getting much, much quicker now that the rain has stopped. Much faster now that the rain has stopped. Back up to Rita, who has just pulled away from Sanzo in 2nd place. She's actually pulled away from the field with the lap time she's running. Rita is just tearing it up. All right, be right back with you. Alright, sorry about the delay there, folks. Trying to make myself some Java to keep myself ready. Remy hitting the pits yet again here on lap 33. We're nearing in on halfway now. Remy out and going. I don't think anybody, those slicks, no, they're still rain tires. I don't think these guys are ready quite yet. Quite yet for the slicks. You still see quite a bit, especially through the tunnel here. I don't think you'll make it through this tunnel. Yeah, you won't make it through that tunnel if you're on slick tires yet. So at the moment, the lap times are coming down quite a bit with the track drying. But Rita, now caught in traffic, has taken the lead. But so far, she's had the race go exactly as she planned. She stayed out for a good long period of time. She stretched the tires better than anybody on the track at this point. And you know, Hossack is also very good at that, and I'm interested to see where he's going to cycle back up. He took a horrific wreck and got when Sanzo and him got together. We'll discuss that after the race. But this track is rapidly drying as the track temperatures come up. Don't have any close battles. Wanma hitting the pits for Extreme Speed Motorsport here on lap 34, running from third place. He's put together a terrific run. Let's see if he's putting on slick tires, or if they'll even show me that in the graphic. It's showing me rain tires. I have to believe he's on rain tires. I don't think that anybody would yet come on slicks. That's going to cycle Hossack up into third place now, and he's earned it. The way he got knocked into the back there, I got to give him credit. He's driven hard and moved his way back up, but he's on a separate pit cycle from most of the other cars as Rita hits the pits, lap 34, just 3-4 short of halfway. On comes fuel and tires for Rita. Can she come out and hang on to the lead? I don't think so. I think Sanzo's going to pass her. Coming out onto the track here. And he does. Sanzo retakes the lead there. Rita wanted to come back out in front of him, but Sanzo will retake the lead. She is right back on top of him. Sanzo retaking the lead as they head down into the tunnel, hit the wet part. But Rita's coming, running in second now. All right, Average Gamer hitting the pits again. He's made several pit stops. Let me take a look and see if the timings are correct and will tell me. No, they won't tell me at the moment. But Average Gamer making another stop. He finished third in Australia in his home country Grand Prix. And he's definitely looking for the points. This is a definite championship contender with the way he's been racing this season in all the series. And he's got to try to climb back up into that top 5. And he's got the speed. I don't know if anybody's thinking slick yet. A lot of this track is dry, but the tunnel is not, and we'll We'll see that here momentarily. Looks like Rita had a shunt. She was right behind Sanzo, and now she's 12 seconds back. I missed it on the track, but with a 1:32 that last lap, she definitely lost time. I'm not sure if she had an accident or not. Dalrymple hitting the pits here on lap 36. Led much of the early part of the race. He's been in a tangle, had himself an accident. Got his service. He's out. Back to live action. We do have battle on the track. Remy in 7th, Average Gamer in 8th. As these two are battling for position. Remy the vet, newly returned to JME Motorsports. Season 17 Indianapolis 500 champion back in the day, making his return last season. And now claiming his former seat with JME Motorsports. Average Gamer hitting the wall, and it appears Remy's able to pull back out in the way. As we are at halfway, these guys got the cross flags halfway through, working now lap 38 of 75. Fastest car on the track now as the track's drying is Hossack, running in 3rd place. He ran a 1:18.9 that last time by. And he's gaining on Rita in front of him. Rita was much quicker on the wets for a while. Back around. Don't hear Alan Bestwick do that. Ooh, somebody went around, and I think that might be Remy. Yeah, it's Remy now just getting going. As a result, he's got Average Gamer all over him again. Hossack, meanwhile, moving in on Rita. He's been steadily gaining on her little by little, but Sanzo is now turning much quicker laps. Battle for 7th there between Remy and Average Gamer. As this track is pretty much drying up. And it has dried up rapidly in some sections. Such as on the... Ooh. Average getting into Remy. He checks up there. Sportsman move there by Average Gamer. Those two are still tooth and nail for position. Hossack moving in on Rita, but meanwhile up front, Sanzo is now consistently turning the quickest laps of the race, and he's actually pulled out a gap here on Rita of about 20 seconds. Back with you on the track. Sanzo, your leader, working lap 42 of 75. He has pulled away. Rita has slowed down now as the track has dried. Hossack is gaining on her. She's running in the 121s. I gotta believe these guys are still on wets because too much of the track is wet. But Rita's certainly not running as quick as Sanzo right now, who's out in front. Battle for position was until Staza hit the wall there. He's cooking now. You got to say that. Now up to 30, almost 30 seconds on Rita. Don't know if she's having a problem. Still a lot of water in the tunnel. There's a lot of reasons yet why I don't think that you can go to dry tires quite yet. Poor Webbloom, he's about 6 laps. Check it, give an exact number on that. Webbloom is now 9 laps down. 8 laps down. It's been a tough day for him. But he's kept at it. Back to Dalrymple. He's turning some quick laps, running in 5th. He's currently a lap down to the leaders, but they are off sequence. But he is a lap down at the present time. Oh, and Dalrymple, big accident. Wow. Wow, big wreck. Dalrymple going head over heels there. Resets the car and gets it going. Man, that was something right there. Glad we got that on there for you. That was something else. Hangs on to 5th place, but that was a brutal wreck. Staza, meanwhile, back in the pits, pitting from 7th. He falls to 8th, as he's had his struggles here today. But back and running, working 45 of 75, 30 laps to go. Wanma running a steady race in 4th. That's Sanzo, who just put Wanma a lap down. As I said, Sanzo's cooking. Now got just 3 cars, it appears, on the lead lap, although they are still off sequence with each other. Keep that in mind. Sanzo hanging on right there. Now we've got Rita and Hossack on each other. Let's get on board Hossack's chase cam now that we can see something without so much spray, as he has come from well behind on Rita to catch up. These are the top 2 cars in the points after round 1. It appears Rita, in the rain, she had better tire longevity, tire durability, and she was quicker for a good portion of that time in the rain. But once the track started to dry, especially in this semi-dry situation, she's had herself some trouble. Average gamer back in the pits. But Rita's definitely slowed down. She's settled into about a 120, 121 pace when the fastest cars are running 118, 119 now. And that's taken away what was a sizable advantage for her. Wanma hitting the pits here from XSM in 4th place. Let's see if he can hang. I think he'll hang on to 4th place from Dalrymple. Give you an update here on the status from the first round. As he gets it out and running, does in fact hang on to 4th place. Go on to finish 7th at the Australian GP. Rita in the pits now. Rita in the pits from 2nd place right as Hossack was catching her. She decides to come in on lap 47. Comes in on 47. It's got 28 laps to go. And she comes out right behind. Ooh. She is right behind Flat Out in 9th place and trying desperately to get by him. He finally lets her by. It's Flat Out running back in 9th, but he's battling for position. He's not far behind Staza, who also lets Rita by there. Well done by those guys. But Staz and Flat Out are basically right on top of each other for position here for 8th place. And Staz is definitely running fast enough. He's had problems to put him a couple laps down, but he's been fast enough to be running with Rita. Rita's pulled away from them a little bit on the track, but meanwhile Staz and Flat Out all over each other. Flat Out makes the pass, but he slides through sideways. These guys, these 2 Aussies in the back, just former teammates at Aussie Race Team, although Staz running as an independent this season. These 2 are just fighting tooth and nail for 8th place. Both of them have had some problems with the car today, but they're still finding some good racing. Ooh, Flat Out gets into the wall. It's our best battle on the track right now. Staz and Flat Out still at it, although Staz has a little bit of an edge now. Up front, meanwhile, there's Sanzo, still leading, still running the quickest laps of the race. Ever since the track has started drying, he has really been able to pull out and now holds about 40 seconds on Hossack. He's coming into the pits this time, however. Here comes Sanzo. He needs a clean pit stop here. Don't know if this will be his final stop. Just tires. We taking any fuel here? The appeared to me he just took fuel, or just took tires. I mean, no, he did fill the tank. Took probably way more fuel than he needs there. He's going to have a heavy car here towards the finish of this race. That Hossack, Rita just seems to have gotten by Hossack. Yeah, she appears to. See on the next lap split if Hossack had a shunt or not. Didn't catch it on the track there. Sanzo in and out of the pits. Still has 36 seconds. If there's any black mark on it was his accident earlier in the race. Hossack, meanwhile, in the pits. Haas gets his service on lap 50, 25 to go, and he's back out. Dalrymple back in the pits. We may see some guys here putting on dry tires and taking the gamble. I believe those are slicks. Hossack appears to be on slicks. Rita's now on slicks. Sanzo's on slicks. These guys are all pretty much on slicks at this point and paying for it. Remy hitting the wall there. Got room to get going and does. But Sanzo continuing to lead. And with that, he's going to earn some cycle time until we get a battle on the track. As I said, the accident earlier with Hossack is definitely a black mark on this to a small extent, but he's run a great race. And when the track started to dry, he's been the fastest guy out there. And as of right now, holds the lead, but we'll see if he's made the right tire call. Track is drying rapidly picking up speed. But early part of the race, it seemed to be all Rita. Now it seems to be Sanzo's show. But still not sure what the strategies are, what tires people are using, how long they can stay out, how long they're going to, till they have to pit. A lot of different compounds, pressures being used. Is that Hossack? Yes, Hossack having a problem here. Coming down through turns 18. He's gone onto the dries, and on the wet spots of the track, he's definitely having problems. Hossack falls back to third and may even fall into the clutches of Wanma. Hossack 138 on that lap. That's 20 seconds. He did not pit, I don't believe, so that's a lot of time. He had a major accident as he's trying to run these slicks. And most of the track is dry, but that one little area of wetness is killing him as Remy hits the pits. But yeah, meanwhile, back on Hossack. Definitely appeared to have a problem there. Wanma not far behind him. It's a lap car that's immediately behind Haas at the moment. But he's done a great job pulling himself back up from the early accident that when him and Sanzo got together. All right, we're back on it. Rapidly drying track, but Rita's now running. Rita and Average Gamer, fastest on that last time, is we're working lap 55 of 75 in the SCL 26 Monaco Grand Prix. All 10 starters still in the race. The track is rapidly drying, and we're coming down to what should be an exciting finish. Oh, it's like Webb Bloom and Sanzo got together a little there. Rita's starting to gain a little bit of time, but Sanzo's still out front. Rita there about 30 seconds back. Qualified 7th, did not have the qualifying session in the driving thunderstorm she wanted, but she has worked her way up, has led the number of laps in the race, and now on lap 56 of 75, she's hoping she's got something here for Sanzo down the stretch. A number of cars may need to make another pit stop. Back there to Hossack, he's had his problems. A couple of big wrecks today. At least one of them I know not self-inflicted. But he still managed to cycle up from a 6th place starting spot up into 3rd. Wanma, meanwhile, pitting from 4th place. Obviously needing some fuel on top of his tires. That's flat out, and Webb Bloom coming in behind him here on lap 57. Wanma running in 4th. He finished 7th at Australia, as I said earlier, so that pretty much puts him in a position where he could finish up this high, he'll have a good points day. Move up very well in the points heading into round 3 at Imola. Average Gamer qualified 4th, currently running in 5th. He's a lap down, not quite 2 laps down to the leader. He's had his share of shunts today, but to come out with a top 5 would be solid. He's going to have to manage these tires for the end of the race, though. He's obviously been in the pits quite a few times. Dalrymple qualified 3rd, led much of the early part of the race, but he's had a couple of major incidents, both coming out of the pits and coming down the hill, and has now cycled himself back to, I believe, 2 laps down in 6th place. Remy for JME running in 7th. I think that might be Sanzo right behind him, in fact, so Remy's about to go 3 laps down. Looks pretty comfortably in the 7th spot if he can hold out and finish the race, pick up another decent points day. Flat out for Aussie Race Team running in 8th. And Staza, not quite sure where he's at. Oh, he's parked off the course. It looks like Stas is going to park the car and ride the race out and take his points for finishing 10th. He has not had the kind of day he wanted. Average Gamer back in the pits again, getting his service. Should be able to hang on to 5th place from here. As there he is in the pits. There Dalrymple is. Yeah, it looks like Average is going to come out okay, but it looks like, yeah, Stas is going to park it off the edge of the course and wait it out to get his top 10, because he hasn't had the type of day he wanted to have. That should give Webloom a chance to gain a position. But cycling back up front to Sanzo, still in the lead. Rita running a little bit quicker than him now, particularly because she's got what I believe is a lighter car. But don't know where these guys are as far as their pit cycle and how they're going to have to pit. That Wanma trying, no. That's Sanzo right behind 5th place. Average Gamer trying to stay from going 2 laps down. And this is only going to help Rita, as Sanzo getting into the back of Average a little bit there. All right, I got you. Where's Stas at? Oh, looks like Rita, she got it moving. Looks like Rita's got it moving, but she lost a lot of time there. She couldn't reset. In fact, she lost 2nd place to Hossack. Wow. Rita went a lap down in that situation with that technical snafu. Wow, that is tough. Rita had 2nd place in a very, very good position. She obviously got around near where the parked car was, and the car wouldn't let her go. She got stuck and couldn't reset. And what could have been a bad enough accident in terms of losing time got a hell of a lot worse for her, and now she's fallen well back. 2:24 on that last lap. That means she lost a minute. She lost an entire minute there with that situation. And that is tough, because she looked like she was in second with a clear shot possibly at winning the race as well. Absolutely brutal turn of events for Rita. That's put Hossack back in front of her into second place, points leader. And Sanzo now has a lap on the field, I believe. Sanzo now, I believe, has a lap on the field. This has been a wild race here at Monaco, no doubt. Working lap 61 of 75. But that was a brutal situation for Rita, who looked to have second place well in hand against her closest competitor here in the early season point standings. But the Dutch driver, Sanzo, he looks to be in a good position to win his first SCL Formula One Grand Prix. Second season driver. He's had his share of bumps here today, and I can't be sure he's not gone into the officials' book for one or two things, but overall he's been very, very fast and has pretty much avoided any bad luck, which now has him well out in front in first place. Hossack now running in second after Rita's more than 1 minute of lost time. Where's Staza at? I believe he's in the pit box there. No? Behind the wall? Yeah, I'm guessing that's where he is. Rita's going quick, and you can see her in the background here. She's definitely going to try to pressure Haas for second place. She needs those points and knows that he's going to be one of her toughest competitors over the course of the season. But you have a bad situation like that Rita just did, where you lost a minute of time and probably the chance to win the race. You've got to gather yourself quickly, and she's one of the best at it. I mean, she's in her 10th SCL season now, and she knows, what it is that she's doing as far as coming back from that kind of thing. You can see her gaining on Hossack now. Now she's right up on him. Let's get on Rita's chase cam. Well, she's hitting the pits. Rita hitting the pits for what's got to be her last stop here with 11 laps to go. Tires and a touch of fuel. And off she goes. She falls back to fourth place. Wanma passes her for third. But she's made her final stop, I believe. Wanma goes by. There's Rita in the background. Hossack, meanwhile, coming down into the Grand Hotel hairpin. That's where the race is as of right now. Sanzo, a full lap ahead of the field. Give some time to the guys here in the back. Staza back out on the track turning laps despite being many laps down. Let's give some time to Webb Bloom here, newly formed Inside Line Racing. He has had as tough of a race. He's been around many times. Obviously doesn't have the car balanced the way he wants, doesn't have the setup balanced the way he wants, but he's still out here. Hossack, meanwhile, in the pits. We'll get back to that. Hossack making his stop. Got to be his final stop here on lap 65. Rita and Wanma both pass him. And out comes Hossack now. He's made his final stop, needing a new set of tires. Looks like Remy lets him in, and Hossack is cleanly out. Dalrymple into the pits from 6th place, making what's got to be his final stop of the day. Oh, that was Rita actually who let Hossack back in. And so these two are right on top of each other. Wanma up in the second. These cars a lap down from leader Sanzo, and this is where the battle on the track is. Hossack in 3rd, Rita in 4th. Both just made their final stops. And these two are battling for these very valuable points. This track temperature's gone up, ambient temperature's gone up. The track is not dried. There's dry spots, there's still wet spots. I'm not sure if people have decided to take it with the slicks, but I believe they are on slicks now. But it's made this track very adventurous. But Rita definitely fighting here for get herself back up into 3rd place. She lost a minute, seemed to have 2nd place wrapped up, but she lost a minute there with that technical snafu as she wrecked in the corner and couldn't get the car reset. So she's got to try to climb her way back up. And she's chasing Hossack right behind him, and they're gaining on Wanma all the time. Let's go on to the best battle here. Let's go into Rita's cockpit for a little bit. Onboard cam. Oh, we got a pit stop up front. I don't think it's going to make a difference, although it might put the cars back on the lead lap. As Sanzo makes what's got to be his final pit stop from the lead. Comes back out. Wait till our scores come back around. Yeah, Sanzo definitely still a lap ahead of Wanma, hitting the pits for the last time, giving up 2nd place as he's got to make one more pit stop here on lap 67. These guys running a lap down to Sanzo, who was able to make that pit stop. Wanma comes back out in 4th place. Rita, meanwhile, in 3rd, still trying to chase down Hossack. Let's give that time, though, to Webb Bloom. Got to give credit to Webb Bloom. Riding out this race, he's going to wind up, looks like he'll get a 9th place finish. Decent points day. Should put him up in the top 10 in points, lock him in for the next round at Imola. And I can't say enough about Inside Line Racing. Boosted, Webb Bloom, missing a couple names there, but these guys are it's a brand new team, all good drivers. I do expect them to have some growing pains this season, but I do expect them to run well. And Webb Bloom is out here doing it the right way. He's had all kinds of problems. He's several laps down, but he's still out here turning laps and learning the car. Got a long schedule ahead of you. Take advantage of the track time. There's your gap between Hossack and Rita for 2nd. But Sanzo running a lap up on the field. looks like he's on his way to his first career SCL Formula One Grand Prix victory, and a big one at that. Some would say the Monaco Grand Prix is the biggest one. Main thing of that, though, is he's avoided the accidents. That's the thing. He's been involved in a couple. You gotta admit that, but he has not lost gobs of time due to it, and he's been able to stay out on the track. So he may be able to pick up the win here, or should be able to pick up the win here. Hossack, can't say enough about this run. He got punted very early on in the race, took a very big wreck. He's probably taking advantage really of Rita's situation, but that's what you got to do. And if he can stay right here, he'll come out of here with the points lead. But Rita just 5 seconds back with less than 7 laps to go. The track, as I said, completely dry in some places now, but still wet in others. Rita, meanwhile, has got Wanma gaining on her. There's Wanma's coming up not far behind Rita there. There you see it. So Rita's still got to try to hang on to the podium finish. She's running for the championship and needs every bit of points that she can get. It looks like Staza has finally pulled the car into the garage on lap 69. I think he'll come home with a 10th place finish. Rita trying to hang on. Wanma's had a lot of trouble in the tunnel today in the wet, and that's been his main downfall. But he has run a good race, and to come out with a 4th place finish here, although he still has a chance to catch Rita, but to come out with a podium here would be great for him as well. They're stabilized a few seconds apart. So we'll take it back up front to Sanzo, running her down. Remy taking another pit stop here towards the end of the race. Let the camera cycle around till we see the gap close on the other battles. But as I said, Sanzo a lap ahead of the field. The main thing, he has been fast. But the main thing is he's avoided any bad luck in getting into the big accidents that some of the other people have, and that's been his main thing right here. But to get your first SCL points win in the Monaco Grand Prix is definitely going to be something we hope he'll be proud of. But he's still got to hang on here for 5 more laps, avoid any mechanical or technical snafus. And you got to give credit to these drivers, these 10 starters who have started off in a driving thunderstorm here on one of the toughest racetracks in the world. Certainly the most famous street circuit in the world, and they've run this race out going on to a 75-lap finish. Said those of you watching here on SCL Racing Network, later on today, the SCL Daytona 500 qualifying and Gatorade duels will be run during Daytona Speed Weeks. We'll see you there at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Gaps are stabilizing now. We'll have 4 to go at the line here. Working 72 of 75. He's still out in front. Haven't seen the gap close there between 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Still that big puddle right there, but it's drying rapidly. Hossack still maintaining about 5 seconds on Rita here as we come to the finish. Qualified in 6th place, the winner at Bathurst. You got, ooh, and Hossack hits the wall bad. Hossack hits the wall bad. Another car behind him. Is that Rita? That is Rita. Wanma goes by. Wow. What a turn of events there. Hossack hits the wall in turn 1. He's still trying to get it going. Oh, that's devastating right at the end of the race, as we're just talking about what a great drive he had to get up to 2nd place. But he hits the wall, and Rita, unfortunately for her, got into him. If she hadn't got into him, she could have probably gone all the way up to 2nd place. But in the meanwhile, that's allowed Wanma to shoot up to about a 3.5, 4-second lead into 2nd. So just like that, what a turn of events here at the end of this one. Hossack's now about 7 seconds behind Rita. Average Gamer's about 7 seconds behind Hossack. And Wanma's pulled about 7 seconds in front of Rita. Wow. Big turn of events here. As Hossack drove all the way up into the top, up into 2nd place. He's now back in 4th. But still a couple laps to go. But if Rita could have avoided that, she would have almost certainly been able to hang on to 2nd and gained a couple of positions on her closest competitor in the early points championship. But for right now, she's looking ahead at Wanma and seeing if she can catch him. There he is up in front of her, but she's only got about 2 laps to do it. You can see the battle brewing. She appears to be gaining on him. Rita's giving it all she's got. Average Gamer running some hot lap times. He's moved to within 5 seconds of Hossack for 4th place, but I don't think he has enough time as Sanzo's taking the white flag. Rita closing in on Wanma. But they only have 1 more lap to go at the line. We'll see if she gets any closer. Sanzo, meanwhile, working the final lap for the last time. 2nd season driver from the Netherlands, shown a lot of promise, a lot of speed during the preseason. And he's going to come in here to Monaco and claim his first SCL Formula One Grand Prix victory. So a monumental day for him. He's mainly stayed out of trouble. He's been involved and been cause of some of that trouble, to be honest with you, but he's been lucky and he's been quick. And it looks like he's going to get the win. All right, Sanzo is going to be coming off the final corner here, 18 and 19. And Sanzo, NL, from the Netherlands, is going to be your SCL 26 Monaco Grand Prix champion here in the Formula One World Championship. Meanwhile, Wanma trying to hang on to 2nd place over Rita. He's only got a couple more turns to go. Hits the wall. I think he's going to make it around. Rita pushing, but Wanma's going to take it home in 2nd. Great run for the XSM driver. Rita brings it home in an eventful race in 3rd. Hossack's going to bring us home in 4th. and Average Gamer in 5th place. All right, I'm going to set up the post-race. And get these guys settled in, and we'll have a post-race interview with you. All right, I gotta say, guys, every one of you has my mad respect. That had to be one of the toughest races I've ever seen anybody drive. And there was about 5 or 6. There were 6 of you that could have won that race, and you were all quick. And Sanzo was the luckiest of the quick because he lost the lead. He lost the least whenever he got into a tangle. You know, he didn't lose near as much time when he got into something there. But either getting my screenshots, Rita. Anyway, like I said, especially guys, Webb flat out, even Stas in the back there, you guys stayed on the track and kept yourselves going. Although we're going to have to review some of that stuff about where we park people, Rita. I understand that situation got you. Would you flip the car in front of them and got stuck there? I got you. So it was just, yeah, yeah. It was just a one. It was a one in a million thing. If you hadn't wrecked right there, you'd have been able to reset it. But because he was sitting right there, that's what happened basically, right? And then I got that whole crazy finish at the end. Dalrymple, I got your wild front flip going down the mountain. I was on that one when that happened. I highly recommend you guys find that. Man, that was that was the craziest single car wreck I think I've ever seen on a street circuit. He just came off, slid, and did a wild. Yeah, it was wild. You guys will see that on the broadcast. But yeah, crazy finish. Congrats to Stanzo for for his first SCL Grand Prix victory. Wanma, great job in second. Rita coming home in third. Haas, I got to give you mad props too. Sanzo and you got together there. I was talking about that on the broadcast. He got too aggressive coming off the gas on you, although there was room, but definitely got too aggressive coming off the gas. But you took it on the chin that whole race, and still, had you not hit the wall at the end, you were probably going to come home second. So I got to give you were the drive of the race there, Haas, because you were all the way in the back after all that shit in the beginning, and just kept grinding your way through. And you were 3 laps away from turning it into second place anyway. Yeah, it was a tough race, but that was something. And then if Rita could have avoided him, she'd have still stole second back from what she had lost. Yeah, you did everything right there. There was nothing that either one of you could have done. It's one of those things where you're watching it going, you feel for these drivers stuck in that situation because yeah, yeah. What happened? What happened in that situation? I'll give you. I talked about it in the broadcast, and I'll give you the straight on what happened there. Hossack was taking the corner wide, and you did have a run. Um, you might have been a little late, but you guys were so far apart. You were so wide apart because Hossack took the wide line that it was hard to tell right where he was at next to you. But I do think he had room to get down there. The problem was when you came off the corner, it's one of those things where if you were on another track, you would have hit the gas and and it would have pushed you. You'd have taken that swing to the apex, and Haas would have run into the grass, cursing you under his breath. You know what I mean? But because it's Monaco, you got back on the gas, and as soon as you guys touched the wheel, it pinched him between the wall and flipped him over. Now, the truth of the matter is that if we were going to assign the official blame on that, at the end of the day, you didn't have the room to get back on the throttle when you did. But that being said, yeah, 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 I understand. Yeah, yeah, it was a racing incident to the but to give it a fair assessment, like I said, it wasn't a dive bomb. You did have room to get there, but in that situation, it was just too. There wasn't enough room for both of you to get back on the throttle, and Hossack took it on the chin, really bad. But like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't honestly. I don't. He thought he was past you. I was on board with him whenever it happened. He thought he was past you, and then he got on the throttle, and you were right there. And like I said, only thing that could have happened is he could have tried. He could have known where you were a little better, but it's hard at this place, like you said. But either way, I give you guys all mad respect because that was a tough race. You put on a good show in a tough situation. There were six of you running, winning laps all the way through the top six, and the guys down there at the back, Stas, Webb, Remy. Uh, you guys were flat out. You guys were running. You ran it out like champs. So I got to give you credit. Great race. Later on today, guys, I think 3 p.m. Eastern is when the qualifying opens for the Daytona 500, and then at 5 is when we start the duels. So make sure you get there and get your lap time in. Sanzo, once again, congratulations, and congrats to Wanma and Rita for the podium. Um, that's about it. We're wrapped up. Good race. If you want to see me in the party real quick, Rita. But good run, guys.